Hey, champ, you're gonna be 16 next year. Oh, yeah, time to watch a man movie. It's called Debbie Does Dallas. Get in my van truck. We'll watch it together. I'm Uncle Pull Tab.
All the bucks in the van truck say, way-oh, 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 way-oh. Drive a Centurion.
I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of the world. I've been to a town. I've got another girlfriend. Her name is Montana. So you gotta clear out of my Centurion van truck. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, the custom van scene was mainstream enough that even Mormon Dad will make the "if this van's a rockin' joke." But the Centurion van truck was the darker backwoods version of custom utility vehicles. A man in a custom van will have sex with you, taking off his shirt, showing off his brawny chest hair, and 14-karat gold chain. But if you lie down in a Centurion van truck's folding rear seat bed, you're getting straddled by an ape who just unzips his fly and fly alone and porks you through his Levi's. His dick wears zipper scars, and he calls his penis the Alabama Slammer. And in the front of the truck, the CB radio's transmit button is taped down. If a custom van is the Steiner brothers, then a Centurion is the Bushwhackers. This Centurion is listed as a Ford, but it's technically not a Ford because it's mostly just a coachwork job with a fifth wheel. These are the products of Centurion Vehicles Incorporated, which was founded in 1977. The idea was to take vans and convert them into trucks to increase towing capacity because middle America, damn it. And we have two of them right here. The brown one is a 1986 Ford Centurion Cruiser 3. Sponsored by the Harrisburg Farm and Show Complex, where you can proudly roll up covered in motor oil and buttermilk stains and not have to worry about being judged. Unless you go in a couple's costume as a well-done steak and a bottle of ketchup. And over here we have a blue one. This is a 1989 Centurion Cruiser. The blue 89 van truck has a Ford C6 transmission. We'll get to transmission talk in a little bit. With 410 rear gearing and gas mileage that reaches 10 miles per gallon, provided you keep it below 65 miles an hour. Some of these Centurions starve for fuel when you get above 65 because the 460s don't have rev limiters. In a sense, redline isn't really redline here. The day after he bought this Centurion, Alex and his friend drove the van truck 300 miles from Boston to Philadelphia while towing a working car. I mean, you don't really buy a van truck if the plan isn't to use it to haul stuff across great distances while fuel burns up like the faith of a God-fearing man in the age of gay marriage. He dailied it for about a month, so he says, after his other car's radiator broke and the cold weather at the time prevented him from being motivated enough to fix it. Meanwhile, Charles's brown Centurion Cruiser 3 from '86 has similar specifications, also a Ford 460 with the Ford C6 transmissions, but this has gear vendor's overdrive. The axle is once again the Dana 70 with 410 gearing with a twin I-beam front. The truck was formerly carbureted, but now he has his own EFI setup that he just made. And it works, and it stinks. It stinks like something crawled up and died in something that was already dead. On a good day, Charles's Cruiser gets maybe 8 or 9 miles to the gallon. Ford Centurion, for the man who adds horseradish when eating pussy. Ford Centurion, the official truck of a man who doesn't understand why the jokes he's been making for 20 years now require an apology. Why do these vehicles exist? These are made for hauling livestock trailers. The idea was, back in the 1970s, that you would attach your livestock trailer to the fifth wheel of this, which is the semi-truck style trailer hitch in the bed of these trucks. You would tow your animals to the farm show or to the auction or what have you. And because all of these sort of farm conventions and sales and all that stuff are out in the middle of nowhere where there's no real hotels and you got to sleep really in your vehicle.
So, you are meant to sleep in the back of these van trucks. That's why the rear end folds out into a kind of twin bed thing here. And they can have amenities on the inside, reading lights, swiveling captain's chairs, TVs, multiple radios, refrigerators, why not, power hookups, all that fun stuff. The world of agriculture doesn't use van trucks anymore because traditional, extended cab pickups are roomy enough that yes, you can sleep in the back of them should you need to. Or if you're really lucrative, you can just buy an RV and take that in tandem with your truck and trailer to the show. Weird driving position. I mean, the engine is pretty much in the cab with you. Well, it's not really a cab, is it? It's a van and it's a truck. People see these things and are like, did you make that yourself? Just to reiterate, Ford didn't make these. All these are our vans that were later converted by Centurion vehicles. But you don't see them. They are weird in real life. Because time's moving on and it's hard to keep up.
No, you just can't yank out my thumb drive. You have to safely eject it No, don't touch it. You gotta click on the icon first. If you just, stop. If you just yank it out, it'll erase everything. Windows X, please.
Driving. Dude, I'm just making suggestions here with this wheel. This steering wheel is a reply-all email chain from a group project where every third reply just says, so, what are we doing? Top speed, 70 miles an hour. Well, the blue van truck belonging to Alex just uses the Ford C6 transmission. It's a 3-speed auto with no overdrive. Yes, it has factory electronic fuel injection, but with no overdrive and 410 rear gearing, that 460 big block V8 is spinning like a 5th grader's mind after being called to the office via the school's high treble PA speaker. Charles' van truck, the brown one, also uses a C6, but it has gear vendors. What gear vendors are is a extra transmission that fits on the back of your transmission. It's this little gear set that usually is operated simply electronically, a button inside the dash. You can wire it up different ways, but it's a way to take a transmission and give it an overdrive. It fits where the drive shaft would go to the output shaft on the transmission, but it's an extra gear set. The unique thing about gear vendors is you can really take a 3-speed transmission and turn it into a 6-speed transmission. Because technically, if you really want to break stuff, you can put that overdrive on in any gear. So you're raising all the ratios. Mostly you just put it on third gear. That makes third gear drop lower. Some people do it on second and third as well. Ford Centurion. For a man whose retirement hobby is carrying his belly around, Ford Centurion. For your married friend who taps on the glass window of adultery. Hey Brian, look over there. Oh, look at her. You should talk to her. The Centurion is a monstrosity from a simpler time, when old Ronnie Reagan was steering the ship and our culture wasn't awash in fragile masculinity. You were living in a town where everybody shops at the same small grocery store where names and birthdays and anniversaries are encoded into the DNA of people who ring you up at the register. Children sit on overturned apple crates while they wash their dog in tin basins that are too small, and old men sit on the porch and spout half-remembered wisdom that makes less sense the more you think about it. Phrases that sound as if they were written by a Hemingway who survived the shotgun blast. They accumulate debt, they accumulate weight, and they acquire keys and children and pets and life experiences that become stories that don't go anywhere as their potential drains out of them like blood from an open wound. The visual style of the Centurion suggests a sort of passive aggression. A man sulking at the beach, angrily kicking the waves because the woman he likes told him no. Because some guys take no in stride while others become bitter in ways that make money for therapists and law enforcement. The type of guy who would read Portrait of a Lady and take from it not the story of a free-spirited American girl shackled by duty and the indecisiveness of possibility, but the story of a feckless suitor who held out for a decade and got a kiss in the bargain. Blah, 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 you can't get what you want, but blah, blah, behind the wheel, reclaiming control of blah, blah lives and the decisions we blah, blah. Except in a Centurion, that isn't really the case. The steering is merely a suggestion. Like a video a friend recommends that you're going to watch for just long enough to convince them that you saw the whole thing. Even in its own time, the Centurion approaches novelty levels of pointlessness. Unless you're a farmer. Unless you're towing something, you're just a fanatic for the make and model. There is not a point to own a gas-guzzling van truck like this, but here are fans of that very vehicle. The automotive community wouldn't be what it is without its relics, oddities, and novelties. But God, the 80s were such an amazing time. I was born in the early 80s, but my world was all Nintendo and string cheese and Huffy bicycles. I was too young for cars, and I'd love to go back to see the wild technology spread of that decade. This blue ass-backward van truck and this space-age Prelude SI4WS were made the same year. Ambition and antiquity side by side. Cars were catastrophically different from each other, and our roads were a menagerie of different shapes, and that was normal. Specialized designs and production experiments just rolling down the road every day. No wonder we thought it was the future. Someday we'll have another decade like that. Maybe the 2020s can be the new 80s.
Centurion is quite the lovely thing. More than truck, although that's not true. Or is it though? I don't quite know. I just want one.